In today's video, I want you to set a realistic weight loss goal to ensure you reach your long-term weight loss goals. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Parvella from ProPhysique.com. In today's video, I want to address when it comes to fat loss and weight loss, what are some realistic expectations we should set for ourselves and what is unrealistic? Because a lot of times we start out with this idea of where we want to end up, but we start to get stuck because we don't actually have realistic expectations of how the body is going to respond when we start down this path. So I want to read the question that I got and then we're going to go from there. I'm reaching out because I want to follow your advice. I've made my own, had mixed results and plenty of setbacks. I know you suggest having a goal in mind. My question is, how do I set that goal? In high school, I was about 170 pounds at 5'10". I played sports. 15 years later, I'm 245 pounds and struggling to lose weight. I've been told that my high school weight is unrealistic. What should I do as a goal? And what would the deadline be for the new year? Is that too long of a deadline? So yeah, I think when you look for a weight loss goal as a coach, the way I try to help people get motivated is ideally, I think you should be focusing on losing about 4 to 6 pounds a month, right? If I told you that you're only going to lose 5 pounds this month, some people are going to get a little bit let down. Because if you enter an extreme fat loss diet where you start doing some like fasting, maybe you're taking one of the fat loss drugs where you just don't eat as much, maybe you're trying a diet out that's like no carbohydrates, and you see these extreme results, 5, 10, 15 pounds in the first day or two or the first week or two, and you think, okay, that's the standard. But that's not actually fat loss, okay? When you see things happen like that, you're just losing a lot of the fluids in your body, especially when you cut out carbohydrates. Carbohydrates store water in our muscles. And so you can get completely depleted from your glycogen stores, lose multiple pounds of weight over the course of a couple of days and feel like, yeah, you're really on your way. And then you're going to get stuck because you didn't actually lose any body fat. You just lost the water weight. However, if we are focusing on losing, I love the number 5 pounds a month. When I'm trying to lose weight for myself, I just give myself the month. And I say, okay, I want to go from 220 to 215. For me, that's a very realistic goal. It allows me a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit of freedom. And we don't want to end up in a worse place than we started at. And if you focus on losing body fat too quickly, you are going to lose a lot of lean body mass. Now, when we lose lean body mass or fat-free mass, it's going to negatively impact not only our performance, the way we look and feel. So even if we do reach our goal weight, that weight is going to represent a look that we just don't love anymore. However, if we really take the time to get into resistance training, continue to, develop the physique that we want based on our goals, it doesn't have to be bodybuilding like I do. You can use any number of tools to be active, whether it's a sport, something like this, to ensure that you are keeping your muscle, building muscle, looking, athletic, I think is a big part of actually reaching our goals. Most people, when I get on the free consult with them, I say, show me a picture of a physique you would like to obtain, because that really helps me understand their vision. And if you're looking for coaching, we can set up a free consultation. But the idea is that physique that they're after is often a little bit different than what they think. They'll often say, well, yeah, I want to lose about 20 pounds and this is my goal. And I have to tell them, well, you're probably going to have to lose 40 pounds while adding 10 pounds of muscle to reach that look, to obtain that desired look. That is a longer goal. But when it comes to fat loss and your goal of new year, we're in the middle of the year. And so, yeah, do I think you should go from 240 to 170 by January 1st? No. But if I tell you you've got 6 months and we're going to lose 5 pounds a month, which should be no problem. No problem. You could even be losing as much as 2 pounds per week, which would put us in the 8 to 10 pounds per month range, without the risk of losing muscle. And so by the end of the year, after 6 months at 5 pounds, you're down 30 pounds. Now we're starting the New Year's at 210 pounds with a much different kind of outlook on life. Our high school weight, while it may represent a number that was very low, you also have to remember that most people are not fully matured at 17, 18 years old. I graduated high school at about 160 pounds. I couldn't ever weigh 160 pounds again. This is me at, I think I was 210 pounds this morning. So I just couldn't lose 50 pounds. I don't have 50 pounds of body fat to lose. I would have to lose all my muscle. I think I also probably grew a little bit, so I'm not going to try to lose bone. But you get the idea. Your high school weight, while it was a fit number, you hadn't had the stress of life, the access to food that you have now. and you were probably much more active. When I think back to high school, all the walking I did, whether it be walking around campus while I was at school, walking over to my friend's house. Before I had a bike, man, we walked everywhere. Before I had a car, we walked everywhere. And so when I look back at those days and how easy it was to maintain a slender physique, I think like when we go to college, that's why they call it the freshman 15, right? Is because now you go from walking everywhere to driving everywhere. You go from, playing sports after school to maybe watching TV or, sitting in the classroom studying. So there are changes to activity levels that really are going to cause this body fat accumulation. And so when I have people come to me and they really want to get back to that look, think about what your life was like at that time, and you want to try to emulate that. I do have my free calculator on the website here if you don't really understand how to set up your nutrition. But that's just so that you guys can do this for free. I want you guys to have the tools to do this yourself. I will be starting a new challenge, a 90-day fat loss transformation challenge. I'll show you some of the winners here on the screen so you can get excited about what's possible in 90 days. Now, I don't always suggest that you lose 30 to 40 pounds in 90 days like some of these entries do, but they change their life forever. But the idea is that whatever rate you go at, set yourself up for long-term success. Don't be so determined to get to that goal weight that you sacrifice the right steps along the way. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions. Put them in the comments below. I love helping you guys reach your goals, and I'd love to know how I can assist you. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.